I love Japanese anime names. Let's talk about Dead Demons DDD Destruction. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Dead Demons DDD Destruction, the new anime series coming to Crunchyroll on May 23rd, 2024. It is based on a manga, as you would imagine from an anime series, and I have watched episode 0. I still really don't know what it's about, but hey, I'm excited to find out more. My hot take is it was okay. I mean, in my normal scale of things, I would say this is a watch later. Wait for it to come to stream, wait for it to come to on demand. It's already on streaming, it's on Crunchyroll, so you don't have to do that. But this wasn't like an amazing episode, it didn't blow my mind, but it did have enough to like make me excited to see more, make me excited to see what was going to happen next, and kind of get a feel for this world. So overall, I think it's okay. Like I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm curious to see where this goes, but this isn't a great episode. This is episode 0, by the way. It's kind of an introduction episode, so it's not super exciting. And I'm gonna go into that in a little bit. Oh, and for kids, if you think, hey, it's animated, this could be for kids. It's not. It's not for kids. There is not a ton, but there is some pretty intense, violent imagery in this episode. So not for kids. I wouldn't let your kids watch it. There you go. I'm going to tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into like a recap. So as you can imagine, there'll be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn off when I get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So in episode 0 of Dead Demons DD Destruction, which I might just call 5D occasionally because that's a little bit easier, you have Nobuo, who is a like manga. He works for a manga company. He seems to be managing artists, and he is going on assignment to get this manuscript, this manga piece from this author Hanazawa. And after he does that, the world gets invaded by aliens, and then some strange stuff happens that changes everything we know about this world, and also gives you the general setting for this anime. So, all that being said, things I liked about this episode. The first, I like the animation. It has kind of a nice mix of like a hand-drawn look. The characters themselves look hand-drawn. I really like it. It feels kind of classic. It feels older. The backgrounds don't appear to be hand-drawn. They're not like super computer generated, but they're a little bit more complex. But I do love the way the characters look. They look very kind of like old school. The second thing I loved, look, I love the setting. You don't get a ton of information about it, but it's like a post-apocalyptic, like almost Independence Day say. It feels kind of like a mix between like Independence Day and District 9, I think. It, it, it- I'm excited to find out more. It seems interesting. It seems like there's a few factions at play here, so I can't wait to kind of learn more about this area. The third thing I loved, there is plenty of mystery. Like I said, I'm excited to see where this goes. I didn't love this episode as much, but there's enough there that I am excited to see where it is going to go from here. And the last thing I loved, I like the ending. It is a pretty kind of explosive ending. So I'm not going to go into it here. I'll go into it in the recap, but it has a pretty good ending that makes me excited to see where this is going. The things I didn't love about this episode, one, it's dense. It is pretty dense. There's a lot of like new concepts, new things that happen, factions, things about the world. It's necessary, and this is an episode 0, so it's like a groundwork episode, but it is tough to follow. I've watched it twice just to like make sure I could kind of follow everything that happened, make sure I could kind of follow all the information. And sometimes I would rewind and rewatch what they were saying just to make sure I had it all. Second thing I didn't love as much, kind of going along with its stance. It's a little confusing. Like I think I just need to get used to some of the things that are happening, but there are a lot of characters. There's a lot of like weird concepts. There's a lot of like things about this world that seem unusual, and it was just tough for me to follow. Like I said, I would go back and rewatch portions just to make sure I had everything. And the last thing I didn't love as much, it's slow. Like it's not a great combination to be slow and dense. A lot of this is conversation. A lot of this is like filling Nobuo in on things that have happened, and so there's not a ton of like action, not a ton of exciting stuff. Like I said, it does end excitingly, but to get there, there's a lot of slow exposition. So all that being said, Dead Demons DD Destruction comes to Crunchyroll on May 23rd, 2024. Like I said, this episode's okay. I think, normally I would say this is a watch later, but it's already on streaming. So, check it out if you are interested in where this is going to go. I'm excited to see where this goes from here, but this episode 0 was just kind of okay. So that being said, I'm going to go into a quick recap and some speculation about what might happen next. So if you don't want to know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So, like I said, Nobuo goes to collect this manuscript from this famous manga author named Hanazawa, and he gets the manuscript, comes back, but when he comes back, we find out that that Japan had just been invaded, or at least, a giant object appeared over Tokyo Bay, It's a very like Independence Day looking. It's a big kind of like floating city almost that just kind of hovers there. And then a little bit later, some other, I don't know, Tetris looking like shapes come out of it and seem to like attack the city. Although they don't really attack the city much. They just kind of like go and then it looks like they just kind of crash. So it seems like maybe as this episode goes on, like those may have been like invader ships. I don't know, maybe they were disabled. Who knows? But that that is like the big kind of starting to what happens. And then Nobuo wakes up with these kids around him. These two kids named Kiwika and Hako. They are taking care of him. They check his head because they said that it's been 8 years and he had been kind of taken over by an invader, one of the aliens, and apparently taken him over and kind of controlled him for the last 8 years. So he finally woke up. They check his head. They like pull back his skin. I guess the invader is there, and it looks like the invader is dormant. So I don't know if he's left or died. I'm not sure. But they said that the invader's gone, and so now Nobuo has back control. And we learn a few things about what happened. They're in a shelter in Nagoya. This is the post, I guess, invader world. They call it August 32nd because the invaders came on August 31st, and then another big event happened 4 years later that they said like shifts it to August 32nd. And so everything is called August 32nd or the never-ending summer break. So probably great for kids if the world wasn't over, but that is where they are. And so we learn more about what happened. The mothership came and eventually it was blown up, and that caused like debris to rain down in this area, destroyed a lot of Tokyo, and also caused this like fog to be around. Now, when the mothership blew up, there were these things called asterisks, which is little like balls of light that appeared that explode if you touch them. So it's unclear if the asterisks were sent by the mothership or the asterisks were sent by like the government to blow up the mothership, and that's why they kind of appeared when it blew up. They're still around. There are fewer of them, and if you touch them, they'll explode. So we also learn that Nobuo has been like protecting these two girls, Kiwika and Hako, and another one named Sumie. And that was what the invader was doing. The invader invaded him, and then for the last, I think, 8 years, he had been protecting these girls. Now, Nobuo gets a note on his phone from the invader. So the invader, I guess they have a cordial relation. I'm not sure. Like the invader writes him a nice note saying, like, I'm sorry I took over your body for 8 years. That's the least you could do is apologize for him losing 8 years of his life. And he's like, I've been protecting these girls, but Sumie had disappeared recently, and that caused the invader to lose his purpose. And that was what then caused Nobuo to be able to like shift up and retake control of his life. So seems noble, except in that time, Nobuo's daughter Kadode has disappeared. Like when Nobuo is waking up, the only thing he's thinking about is his daughter Kadode. And the invader's like, I don't know where your daughter is. Which, I mean, that kind of sucks, right? Like, I guess he's defending three people. Very nice. But in the process, he like lost Nobuo's daughter. Like that kind of, I mean, he should have like got Nobuo's daughter, brought her to this Nagoya settlement, and then, defend them for there. So we have Kiwika and Hako here. Where's Sumie? Well, we find her pretty quickly. They go outside while they're explaining everything to Nobuo about how the mothership exploded, how the asteroids appeared, and they find the body. They find Sumie's body, and she's pretty clearly emerged. She has like a hole blown out of her side, and so they say it must be this, or it must be because she was trying to join this new group, New Japan Harmony, and so New Japan Harmony is like an extremist group that I think is advocating that, people should unite and be okay with the invaders. They talk about how like the population of Japan has like dwindled to 1/20th of what it was, and that they shouldn't keep fighting. They should all join together to form a new Japan. That seems to be their message. Seems like they're trying to protect the invaders. And we also find out that Nobuo is the reason that Sumie was trying to join New Japan Harmony. He had been protecting them, but he started acting weird, and the kids thought that maybe people would suspect that Nobuo was taken over by an invader, and so they were trying to join New Japan Harmony because they thought New Japan Harmony would protect the invader. So now that Sumie is dead, now that Nobuo has control, he wants to find his daughter Kadode. So he's like, I'm going to go to Tokyo. And the kids are like, hey, we'll go too. I was like, that doesn't seem like a smart move. You're in a shelter. It seems fairly safe. You say that, you got food and protection. Why would you go to Tokyo? But they want to stay with Nobuo. So they all decide to go to Tokyo. Now, they're trying to go to an assembly point for New Japan Harmony to like join them. And I guess maybe, drop the kids off there and then he'll continue on Tokyo. Or maybe they'll all go to Tokyo. Not 100% sure. But while they're walking, they get attacked by a robot that is apparently being controlled by the government, I think. And it's just, if you're not authorized to be out there, it seems pretty strict. It starts shooting at them because Kiwika is using a cell phone that is not approved. So apparently this robot has terrible aim because it's shooting at them, it has like a Gatling gun on it. It doesn't hit them specifically, but it does like graze Hako. Like it shoots her leg, she falls down. In the hail of gunfire, Nobu was able to pick her up and run. And I was like, I mean, he would probably get shot if this robot had any sort of aiming at all, but he's able to get them out. They run from the robot. The robot doesn't seem to pursue them. They're able to get away. They treat Hako's leg in this like shelter. After they do this, like SWAT style troops come in through the windows with guns. And Nobu is afraid, but Kiwika's, oh no, this is New Japan Harmony. And they come in, they restrain Nobuo, and Kiwika's like, I'm sorry. They said they wouldn't take us unless we handed you over. So it seems like these kids betrayed Nobuo. They are trying to get to safety. They're worried for their safety over at the shelter, and so they agreed with New Japan Harmony to hand over Nobuo because I guess for some reason, he is important to their interests, and then they would get shelter. But Kiwika gets upset with how New Japan Harmony is treating Nobuo. They're like restraining him, and she's like, "You said there would be no violence." And then one of them just like pops her in the face, just boom. I'm like, oh wow, that is a turn. Unfortunately for Hako, she sees this. She was recovering in the other room, but the commotion obviously got her up. So she sees Kiwika get shot, and Hako yells, "Nobuo, run! Like, go find your daughter!" And then they pop Hako. So they kill like two kids. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is not good. That is very violent. But in the confusion, Nobu is able to get up and run. He's running from New Japan Harmony. They're pursuing him, and he's running down an alley, and a van just like pulls up and like, get in. And Nobu hesitates and like, dude, you're being pursued by people who are trying to kill you. They just killed two kids. These people can't be worse. But he hesitates, but eventually he gets in right as New Japan Harmony is loading up an RPG and fires it. So they fire it, the van pulls away, it blows up behind the van. Nobuo is safe. Now we find out that this is a private security organization known as SHIP, and they picked Nobuo up because they got chatter that New Japan Harmony was going to like do something. And I guess they figured that they attacked Nobuo. Nobuo must be interesting to them, so they take him. Now Nobuo mentions like, "Hey, I'm trying to get to Tokyo," and they're like, "Why would you want to go to Tokyo? It's like basically gone. Like most of it was swallowed up by Tokyo Bay." So it seems like in the 8 years, a lot of stuff has happened. But as they're talking, one of the members like goes, "Oh my gosh, it's you," and like raises his helmet, and it's this kid. I mean, I guess he's probably not a kid anymore. It's been 8 years, but it's a kid that knew Nobuo's daughter, Kadode. And so he's like, "You're Kadode's father." He's like, "You know my daughter? Where is she?" And he's like, "I don't know. I haven't seen her, but I do have this picture of us from a university summer camp." So this kid knows Kadode or knew Kadode, has a picture of her as from some university summer camp. And that's it. That is the end of episode 0. And one thing that's interesting is that the credits animation doesn't really match up with the style. The credits animation is a lot more like detailed. So I don't know if like the series itself is going to change the animation style or if it's going to stick with this. But the credits have like a lot more, I don't know, high res images and also some like more, I don't know, fantastical images. It seems to be a very different style than what the series opener, what episode 0 looks like. But I guess we'll see. So what's next? I don't really know. I haven't read the manga, so I'm not sure. But I imagine Nobu will continue to look for his daughter. He'll probably continue to Tokyo to see if he sees anything. He might go to that university that the kid mentioned. That might be a good place to start. I also bet that the Asterisks were deployed by the government. They were deployed to probably destroy the mothership, and there was a consequence, like a backfire essentially, which caused more damage than it should. Because to me that explains why they were 4 years out when they deployed, and they deployed them right as the mothership was blowing up. I guess it could have been also that the mothership maybe realized it couldn't control Earth, and so deployed the Asterisks to like hurt Earth as it's going away. But I feel like it's probably the government that did it. I don't know. We'll find out. Also, I don't know why they don't just get rid of the Asterisks. There aren't a ton of them. It's not like they're super dense. They could just like throw rocks at them and blow them all up. But that's a problem for other people, not Nobuo. Nobuo is going to focus on finding his daughter. That is episode 0 of Dededede Demons Dededede Destruction. Like I said, it's coming to Crunchyroll on May 23rd, 2024. It's coming in English sub and dub. The dub is a new thing. They announced it today. It wasn't previously announced, so you can watch it in English with subtitles or English dub. I am excited to see where it goes. I didn't love this episode. I thought it was a little bit slow, but there's enough in there that I'm excited to see where they go from here. So again, check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I would love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.